Welcome into another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. I am your host, Josh Barnett, and we are brought to you by Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield Leagues, the best place to watch the game live and loud on Sunday. Arvo, get across to West Ashfield if you're not heading down to the nation's capital. Those games we're previewing tonight on tonight's episode. Please give us a follow on our socials if you haven't already at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Look for our Facebook page as well. You can find that via the Linktree link in our Instagram and Twitter profiles. Give us a follow on YouTube. Shouts to the dozens of you tuning in right now, our loyal listeners coming through live on a Wednesday night. Again, we love you all sticking through us for some West Tigers therapy. Is a season, what have we got? 5 men's games to go. So, and if you'd like to take part and support the show, patreon.com/WestsLife, the Discord again. Yeah, today, lots going on in there. I think a lot of fantasy talk. Not doing fantasy, what do you call it? Super coach talk this today as, Roberto's in there and kind of a lot of banter going on, that sort of thing. And what's his name? A lot of talk about, even a bit of AFL talk as what's his name retired, Buddy Franklin retired on Monday. So talk all sorts of stuff going on in the Discord. So if you want to join us, patreon.com/WestsLife. How are you on this Wednesday evening, Az?
Yeah, g'day Josh. G'day everyone watching and listening. Pretty good, mate. I'm not doing a whole lot at the moment myself. I've kind of been staying a little bit out of the fantasy and supercoach chat because I gave up on my season during the origin period. It just got too complicated and too confusing for me with the way my brain works. So I've dropped it for the season, and I might pick it up again next year, but I'm not particularly good. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Excited to talk about 4 games. Tonight we've got 4 games in the space of 2 days, all against the same opposition. It's not often that happens. So
In the same
yeah.
state. Yeah. Or territory, I guess you call it. Just saw, speaking of Patreons, Brocker watching from Ireland. So you might remember we watched, was it the Rabbitohs game we sat with him, I believe, Brocky might
Easter
confirm.
Monday. Easter Monday.
Yeah, Easter Monday against Para. He is actually playing with I don't know if have you ever heard of the band Airborne? As they're one of my favorite. They're a heavy. Brock might correct me on this. I believe you define them as heavy metal. They're kind of like the modern AC/DC. They're unbelievable. I've seen them live a few times. One of my favorite bands, and he's playing with them at the moment. He's over in Europe touring with them, playing guitar. I think Brocker. Not correct me if it's bass or actually my musical knowledge isn't that good, but he's touring with Airborne, the band. They're a big deal. We've lost Az. It's Jason D. Running Wild and Free. Yeah, that's Running Wild album, one of my favorite all time, absolute banger of an album. And he's over there playing those songs with him. So we know someone famous, and I've lost Az. So Brocker maybe might get you to give you the StreamYard link and come host the show from Ireland. Maybe we lost Az, technical difficulties again. That's okay, because we're going to talk about West Ashfield first before we get into it. Let me bring up my little graphic there. Oh, Az is back. He's back. Az we're just talking about Brocker. You tuned out there. So Brocker's over in Europe, touring with Airborne, the band. So check him out.
Okay.
If really good gym band. Make you want to, just like AC/DC, they make you want to run through a wall. That sort of pump up sort of music. So if anyone hasn't heard of him before, they're he also plays in an AC/DC tribute band too. So absolute legend, Brocker. I know a rock and roll star. Love it. West Ashfield, speaking of rock stars, the team at West Ashfield. How was that segue, Az? That wasn't a bad one.
Yeah, not too shabby. I'll give you that one.
So you can watch both games live and loud on Sunday afternoon, and I believe they are doing $4.80 beer and half price pizza, and up until I think from kickoff to half time. Actually, it doesn't define it here. The Ambush are doing something as well. So they're expecting quite a lot of West Tigers fans heading to West Ashfield on Sunday afternoon. For more information, head to holmanbarnesgroup.com.au. Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. Might check that out if I can get across there but we'll talk about that off air. Right, a bit of news. So a few fluffy sort of stories. Nothing that much has happened. Good comment there, Jason D. Don't the West Tigers have a rock star on the board? Yeah, not as good as Airborne. I don't think. Similar haircut though. Anyway, back to the news. Brett Kamali's got a bit of a compliment from Ruan Sims. So she's basically said you really have to put all the girls' success under Brett Kamali, and then he's the way he's put the squad together, and he's got the team fired up essentially. So I just thought this was a cool little thing from one of the greatest female rugby league players in Australian rugby league history. Would you agree with Ruan Sims' sentiment here? A lot of people are saying Noddy needs to coach first grade, but man, the girls are firing up for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an awesome comment from Ruan. She's obviously had a lot of experience in the, not necessarily in the NRLW, because I'm pretty sure she had close to retired by the time it kicked off in 2018.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But as a player, as a figure in the game for as long as she was, it's absolutely amazing endorsement, I guess, for Noddy. The way he's put this team together, along with whoever else at the club has helped him to do that. The way he's got these girls working for each other on the field, the way he's got them representing the jersey in both determination in attack and determination in defence. The talent he's assembled, the local juniors, he's got basically the whole team firing. Had a good preseason with them. The trial result didn't go according to plan, but they were trying a few new combinations and things like that. And round 1 and 2, they've let loose. They really have.
100%. Speaking of the girls, the club announced the tickets for the last regular season games are too easy to say. They're mathematically going 2-0 as they're pretty likely to make the finals now. I don't want to jinx it, but you win the first 2 of 9 games. You probably only going to win probably half your games running back in to make it. So, but the last regular season game Thursday night at Campbelltown, 7:45 p.m. against the Knights. That's going on sale, and it's $10 a ticket, and kids are free. So, I don't know what defines a kid. I guess
Ticket Tech, I think, had under 15s. So
15.
Under 15s are free.
Fair enough. So yeah, hopefully get a decent crowd out there. The girls playing primetime Thursday night
against
footy,
the defending
which is
champs.
Pretty cool. So obviously it'd be semi-final time for the men's. So the girls getting Thursday night footy to themselves, which is awesome. Charlie Staines, I think it was the Mole. I can't remember where I read it, but someone was talking that he's possibly going back to Penrith. Charlie, I did notice, did the press. I don't know if the club did this on purpose, but he did the press conference today on the call out. So, and he said that he actually wants to stay at the club and his manager to take care of it, all that sort of thing. That he loves the club and said all the right things there. So, yeah, who knows with this one? But I would like Charlie to stay on. He's definitely top 2 best wingers we have right now at the club.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's first grade standard, and we don't have a lot of first grade standard backs. He's a very good backup fullback for Jareem if the worst happens and Jareem does go down with an injury. And he's a top quality winger. We definitely need the backs to. We need a lot more strength in the backs because our backs this year have been a fair bit of a problem along with the halves. So if we've got Charlie, if he stays, I know he wants to play fullback and that's his preferred position. And The rise of Jareem has kind of taken that away from him. But like
he's
I
not going to
said,
get over Dylan Edwards.
Oh yeah, he's a strong fullback, backup, and very good winger. Could potentially play in the centres if needed, but wing would probably be ideal position for us as fans going forward. We definitely need him to stay.
Absolutely. What else have we got? Oh, of course, yesterday. I can't believe I missed this as on Monday night's show, but yesterday was Sean Bloor Day. So Sean Bloor turned 23 on Tuesday. I sent him a happy birthday message. Most people probably saw it in the socials. Yeah, I did. I'm so disappointed in myself that I didn't know it. Yeah, his birthday. I forgot that his birthday was August 1, which is also the horse's birthday. Showing out, Rob. August 1's. I just realised, isn't that the horse's birthday? August 1. So, pretty apt for that young stallion, I guess. So,
Don't worry, Josh. Pick yourself up and go again next year on the 1st of August.
yeah, I'm spewing.
I mean, it'll be actually no, it won't be a Wednesday because it's a leap year. So his birthday will be a Thursday next year.
Yeah, that sounds right. Might be a Thursday night footy. So, yeah. So happy birthday, Blory, if you're listening, which he sometimes does. So shouts to hopefully Bianca spoiled you rotten today. On to our friends at Mobile Corp. So Mobile Corp, they support local businesses by managing their IT, their networks, and their mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who will take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place, handle all your mobile device needs, then Mobile Corp can help. Mobile Corp is a family-run business and long-time supporter of the West Tigers, and reach out to our friend Stephen and the team at Mobile Corp. Check out mobilecorp.com.au. That's mobilecorp.com.au. And shouts to our friends Shane Walker and Paul Sirenen wearing those MLC Phones jerseys. Actually, I don't know if you saw it. Anthony the Wiggle put up a photo wearing an MLC jersey on his Instagram the other day. I gave him a little compliment on it. Looked really cool. But oh man, Jason D's got the killer comments tonight. He said, "Josh, did you sing Happy Birthday to Blory the same way Marilyn Monroe sang to JFK?" No, it was more like Mr. Burns singing it in Monty in Waylon Smithers' Dream.
Dreams.
Popped out of the cake. Yeah, popped out of the cake naked. On to the game of rugby league, which unfortunately Sean Bloor has been ruled out of with HIA. But can you run us through the West Tigers team male or the men's team list for Sunday 4:05 p.m. in the nation's capital as?
Absolutely, I can. So Jareem Buller at fullback, David Nofaluma and Charlie Staines on the wings, Stafford Toa and Junior Tupou in the centres. Dane Laurie is fit and he'll partner Luke Brooks in the halves. Alex Twoll has moved into the starting side at prop along with David Clemmer. Api Coruscant is still the hooker. Isaiah Papali'i and John Bateman in the second row with Fanua Pole at lock. Jake Simpkin, Justin Matamua, Atasi James, and Asu Kepaoa are the bench. Talon De Silva, Alex Seyfarth, Will Smith, Kit Laulili, I think is that one, and Josh Felaty are our reserves.
I forgot to mention too, so all the boys and all the girls players, they'll be at Top Ride Shopping Centre tomorrow afternoon, I think from 5 o'clock the signing session is. So if you live like us we only live just down Victoria Road from Top Ride Shopping Centre, so maybe might pop over there to see the boys and girls at that one. No Stefano as the club. So we thought it was HIA at first, but the club actually hasn't stated. I should have checked this, but have the club stated yet why he is out?
I think they did. I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere. It might have been in the team announcement article. I'm pretty sure it said both Sean and Stefano have been ruled out with HIA protocols. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's two massive losses there with Sean and Stefano. A whole lot of firepower missing as
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, they're two huge outs. Stefano, he's a meter eater up forward. Blore has performed quite well since he returned to the team. About 6 weeks ago now? He's definitely been one of the standouts, one of the more consistent performers, and we're definitely going to miss him this weekend against a pretty big Raiders outfit.
Yep. In saying that, keen to see Justin Matamua back in first grade finally.
Yep, first game for the year.
He deserves. I mean, at this stage of the year, play the kids, get him in.
I'm concerned about the bench though. We're looking a little bit light on the bench with a hooker, a centre, Matamua, who I think is a second rower, and just one prop in James.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's just taking those two guys out. It is. Yeah, a little bit soft. I mean, Alex Seyfarth was playing well too, and he's named there outside the squad. I think maybe I'd bring him in. I get what Sheensy's with Kepper always kind of can fill in the back somewhere, I guess. But yeah.
But I think in this day and age, you're probably just better off doing a bit of a shuffle if one of your backs goes down. Like if a winger or a centre goes down, you shuffle one of your centres out to a wing, or you put a wing in, or you put a second rower into the centres, and you have another forward somewhere on the bench.
Yeah, you could do Dane Laurie to the centres, maybe Appy to half, Simpkin to hooker. Yeah, it's just Kepa seems like a bit of a waste on the bench, but yeah, Jakey Simpkin getting a crack at first grade again. So yeah, good to see him in there. Vanilla Pole at the back says, "Well, speaking of happy birthday to our one of our patrons, Noons. He's the head of the Vanilla Pole fan club in the Discord. So he's at 13 again. Played well last week. So happy birthday, Noons. Anything else? What other changes are there? As David Nofaluma still getting picked on the wing. Were you expecting maybe? It looks like Naden might not be healthy still, so maybe Nofaluma is still being picked by default.
Yeah, I don't think we have that many more options in the backs, particularly out on the wing. Too many injuries this year have just really crippled the team.
Yeah.
And we got rid of what was the Kiwi guy we had last year as well? Off the top of my head, I can't. I forget.
Richie Barnett.
It's been a long season.
It has.
Yeah, we're struggling.
Long 10 seasons.
Injuries have killed our team this year.
Righto, the Raiders as this. I'm glad I'm not have to pronounce these ones. Good luck with this one. Righto, Raiders team for me.
Jordan Rapiner has moved to fullback.
Mamalo, Ken Mamalo, you're thinking of. Thanks, Kyle.
Mamalo, that's the one. Yep. All right, so Jordan Rapiner has been moved to fullback. Albert Hopawate and Nick Chotrich are the wingers. Sebastian Chris and Matthew Tomoko are the centres. Jack Whiten and Jamal Fogarty are in the halves. Josh Papali'i and Joseph Tarpanay are the front rowers with Zach Wolford at hooker. Hudson Young and Elliot Whitehead are the second rowers with Corey Horsburgh at lock. Adrian Trevelyan, Emre Gula, Pasami Solo and Ata Mariotta are the bench, with Matt Frawley, Tom Starling, Trey Mooney and Ethan Strange in the reserves.
Did you say Corey Isn't it Horsburgh? Horsburgh? Don't they say
Horsburgh? It's Horsburgh, Horsburgh. I hear a few pronunciations of that. Yeah.
And you say is it Chotrich now? Is he going
Chotrich? Yeah, that was one of the ones that pronunciation changed last year. So the commentators got word that they were pronouncing his name wrong. So they've changed it to the proper pronunciation, which is Chotrich.
Is he Croatian? It sounds Croatian. I might be Serbian.
I don't know.
A lot of itches. Obviously, the best basketballer in the world, the best tennis players in the world are both itches. So, maybe Serbian or something. And they do tend to do that with their surnames. As matchup wise, it's the Raiders always seem to spook us. Like, I don't know. It's always scary. It doesn't matter how the Raiders are going; they always seem to play really well against us. What of their lineup is scaring you a bit?
Well, for most of their game against us at Campbelltown a couple months ago, Jack White and Jamal Fogarty were ripping us apart through the middle in the halves there. Their front rowers in Papali'i and Tapane have been a big part of the reason why the Raiders are still currently in the top 8 and looking pretty solid to try and remain there. Their bench as well is massive. So they're a big threat. And Jordan Rapana, I feel, is a bit of a wild card, particularly being moved back to fullback. So he could be a good thing. That could be a good thing for them. It could be a terrible thing for them. Because he's obviously very much a hothead, and if you get under his skin, you can get him in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got like suspended early this season for, I think it was a high tackle against us in the trial game out at Belmore. And other teams have been able to get under his skin and cause issues with him there. So yeah, he's a fiery one. He's a hothead, but he could also provide a lot of X factor for them at fullback too. So
yeah, this game, the 4-pack too, like Papali'i, it's Hudson Young, some real quality. We really need our forwards to Stefano, man, it's a pack going up against a pack without Stefano and Blory as well. Our pack kind of looked a little bit, I don't know, a bit small and out muscled a bit against the Rabbitohs last week. And it's a tough task for them down in Canberra as well. Anything else,
that pretty much covers it. Their second rower and their lock as well. They're a pretty good combination, a pretty good trio. So got to keep an eye on them and not let them get too much good ball. Otherwise, they'll bust us easy.
I just thought I'd bring up not by pleasure. It's not much pleasure to do this, but bring up our previous games. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row since we haven't beat them since 2018, and 4 losses before that. So what's that? 6 plus 4. So we won one of our last 11 against, and 2 of our last 13 against the Raiders. So somewhat of a bogey side. Not that, I mean, every side's pretty much a bogey side for us at the moment, but yeah, that 20-19 bullshit loss, or maybe not bullshit, it was definitely a penalty, but Pupley obviously giving away that penalty at the end that cost us a remarkable comeback victory that the three of us were at Leichhardt last year, 56-10 flogging. Was that last round of the year last year?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. They seem to ruin our final games of the year, don't they? Canberra the year before, 30-12. Year before that, 2020. It's lucky we're only playing them once a year. Normally, 14-6. Campbelltown lost, and then 2019 we lost at Combank 28-0, and then lost at down there 20-12, and then finally our last win 2018. It was a 22-20 victory. So
I was there for that one
in Canberra.
Yeah, I went down to Canberra. That's my I've been to Canberra once for a game, and that was the one time I was there for the Viking clap, which was a pretty intense atmosphere while I was sitting down in my seat with everyone standing up around me and my brother. So that was a bit wild, and I actually made a day trip out of it. So I got back home to Orange at the time. I think it was like nearly midnight. It was a very, very long day, that one.
Is it directly south from Orange?
Southeast-ish. Southeast-ish, yeah.
The only game I've been to in Canberra, we won 40-0 as well back in 2012. So that last win, let's just look at the team list. Who do we have?
So Moses over there.
So in that win in 2018, tries to Moses Ambai, David Nofaluma, and Malachi Watini Zalesniak, and Michael Cheekham. So
they had a player sent to the sin bin in that game as well. It might have been Rapana. It might have been Leilua. Okay. I think it might have been Leilua, actually.
Our backline was Mbai, Nofaluma, Masters, Nagama, MWZ, Benji, Brooksy. Packer, Farah, Madalino actually played that one. Madalino, Cheekham, Elijah Taylor, Matt Eisenhuth, and then bench Garner Twoll, Jesse Sue, and Jacob Little. So, a bit of a. Oh, Blake Austin was playing for Raiders then too. So
He was, yep.
yeah, so yeah, BJ obviously came to us the following year. Was it the following year that, or the year after? It might have been one more.
It might have been, yeah, it might.
Mm.
Ooh. I know he was with us in 2020. I can't remember if he started in 2020 or 2019, but it was definitely one of those two.
Manuel F bringing up, we obviously played against them in the snow as well in 2000. I believe Shane Walker talks about that in our previous episode with him.
Yeah, I've seen the highlights of that game on YouTube,
Yeah.
and it looked like a wild adventure, that one.
Greg decided to bring up 1989. That's not cool, Greg. Let's not talk about that. Actually, I mentioned Junior Pierce's podcast with James Graham on Monday, and he was just talking about how Bill Harrigan blew a penalty for. I've never actually heard it explained because obviously I was too young to watch it. So basically, our guy took the ball from dummy half and tried to catch it a marker offside. Bill Harrigan blew a penalty and gave it to the Raiders because of bad sportsmanship. And Wayne Pierce is of the belief that Bill Harrigan pointed the wrong way and just didn't had too much pride to basically point his arm back in the right direction. He actually probably meant to give the Tigers a penalty, and the Raiders went and scored, sent it overtime, and changed the course of history. Yeah, so yeah, my family hate to this day, my family hate the Raiders because of 1989, and I'm sure plenty of other Balmain background families are the same.
Was that grand final also the game where there was some sort of controversy to do with the crossbar for a field goal attempt or something like that?
Benny Lice hit the crossbar, and they reckon the crossbar was not it was put up too high or something. But yeah, hit the crossbar. Okay. If that field goal goes over, it doesn't go to overtime. They probably win by field goal. It's just Tigers. Just
the sort of bad luck that we get all the damn time.
Yeah, we've carried that over to the merged club. New South Wales Cup. So the Magpies are playing at Raiders Belconnen in Canberra at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Tommy Talau in the team there. Wakeham. Who else is in there? Yeah,
Will Smith.
Tommy Talau. Yeah, Will Smith. So, and then before that, Jersey Flegg are playing at 1:15 at the same spot. Talon de Silva playing for the Flegg team there. Where is Belconnen? I have no idea. Got no idea about the geography of Canberra. I've only ever been to Canberra for 3 different things: a Year 6 camp in '99, Salmonats a couple of times, and then a Tigers game. That's the only time I've ever been to Canberra. So, no idea other than those things. Righto, NRLW, as run us through our ladies.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are unchanged again. So the team is Batil Vetti Welsh is the captain at fullback. Jakaya Whitfield, who last weekend broke the NRLW run meters record, blew it out of the water, I believe, is on the wing with Josie Lanaz on the other. Rakia Horn and Layanne Tafanga are the centres. Pauline Pilaye Rasabale and Emily Curtin in the halves. Sarah Togatuki and Christian Pio in the front row with Ebony Pryor at hooker. Kezi Apps and Eliza Cialata are the second rowers with Nevada George at lock. Sophie Curtin, Lozana Lutu, Taylor Osborne and Folau Vaki are the bench with Jessica Kennedy, Rebecca Pollard, Bianca Bennett, Selma Knorr and Imogen Gobrin on the reserves.
Jason D said so Shay said on YouTube, Belconnen is 5 minutes away from Bruce Stadium. So thank you, Shay. And Jason said the best place in Canberra is Fishwick. Never been there, but I know what that means. That's where the fireworks and pornography, I believe, is sold. But anyway, back to NRLW. So what are the changes here as? Is this the same 1-17 as last week?
Exact same 1-17. No changes. So the whole squad is fit, barring the one injury we know of to friend of the show, Tess Staines.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think the team is 100% fit and firing and ready to try and go 3-0.
Yeah. Betty Walsh, she was amazing last week. I think I said this last preview. Like to see Lasana Luchu get a bit. She only played 22 minutes or something. So,
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see her come on. Maybe the first, get her out there. I just feel like the game just changes when she comes on. Is she the Sean Bloor of the women's team? Maybe.
Very well could be.
Yeah. I didn't realize she's only 18. I read today. Didn't realize she's a kid.
Yep,
Basically.
she played in the under-19s women's Origin game, which was the same week as men's game 3, I believe. And she was even though the team lost, she was a very big part of the team and played quite well, I believe, from what I saw.
Yeah. So the Raiders,
uber talented.
The Raiders girls, who we won't go through every single name, but who are the stars of their team?
So they have 2 of their big stars in their starting 13. Their captain and 5'8", Zahara Tamara. She's, I think, if not the most capped NRLW player, she's very close to it. So her experience is, I guess, something to very much keep an eye on. She can lead the team around quite well, and she did that against the Roosters last weekend when the Raiders notched up their first win. Samaima Taufa at lock is a big star for them as well. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Grace Kemp off the bench. She's quite tall, packs a lot of power and a lot of punch. Scored their first try at a home venue as well, and seems to be full of energy and full of go forward. So yeah, they're probably the 3 for me to keep an eye on from the Raiders. If we don't contain them, we could be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Just seeing Mackenzie Wiki. Is she related to Ruben Wiki?
She's the daughter of Ruben Wiki.
Okay,
Ruben Wiki, I think, posted on Twitter or Instagram or something earlier this week a photo of him running out for a game with his 2 kids with him, and alongside a picture of him with her now in her Raiders tracksuit. So it's quite a cool post. I liked it a lot.
Okay,
it's really good to see now with the women's game growing that there's more opportunity for the kids, both male and female, of the stars of yesteryear to put the boots on themselves and line up potentially at the same club that their parents or grandparents or family members of whatever sort, like we see with the Titans, Preston Campbell and Jaden Campbell. Like, there's so many opportunities for that now. It's really exciting for me as a fan of rugby league in general.
Shay says on YouTube, Sia Soliola's wife is in this team. Sia, is that correct?
Possibly. I
am.
Oh yeah, Mona Lisa
in the back row.
Yep,
there
she is.
Her name's Mona Lisa.
Yep.
She must have a good smile. Righto, on to Rob Sadamas. Actually, speaking of gambling, just looking at our girls are $1.85 favourites, Raiders $1.95. So it's weird seeing West Tigers as favourites in a game. But Rob Sadamas is still giving us his bet of the week from afar. So he's got a 4-legger, 4 try scorers for this weekend. So he wants Suwali from the Chooks, DWZ from the Warriors, who seems to score a try every week, Dom Young from the Knights, and Russell. What's Russell's first name at the Eels?
Sean Russell.
Sean Russell, of course. So yeah, he's going for a big one. I think you said as Sportsbet or something actually picked all 4 of them in the bingo, whatever thing they do.
So they do 2 bingos around. If you want to find it, you can find it in the betting for the first game of the round. So
don't promote it. They don't give us any money. We won't.
Okay.
Use any betting app you like. Sportsbet don't give us any money, so use Tab, Better, Play Up, whatever. Until they sponsor us, we're not supporting any of them. Righto, to our tips for this week. First game of the round. Rob and I have both gone Chookies. You've gone the Sea Eagles as going for a bit of an upset there.
It's kind of funny. I was surprised to actually see that Manly were the underdog, considering that I think they're in much better form at the moment. The Roosters, despite getting the win 2 weeks ago against the Titans, they've been struggling as a whole this season, and I'm pretty sure one more loss could potentially rule them out of the finals race, with how close that is and how long's left in the season. But yeah, Manly, I feel like Manly are in better form. I know it's a Roosters home game, but it's at the SCG, and they haven't really been playing as well this year, so I don't really think that makes too much of a difference there. Yeah, I've just gone Manly. I think they're a bit of a good bet for this week.
If the Chooks lose this, they're cooked, aren't they? Cooked Chooks.
Close enough, I think. They're already 4 points behind the top 8, and you've got some of those teams at the bottom of the top 8 in the Rabbits and the Sharks, for example, playing against each other. So the points for the top 8 could start slipping away from them. So if they lose this one, they could end up being 5 or 6 points out with 4 games to go, and too much ground to make up there.
Warriors heavy favourites. We've all gone the Warriors up on the Gold Coast against the Titans. They're in hot form. The Waratahs, Waratahs, Jesus, the Warriors would never fucking. Do the Waratahs still exist? I wouldn't even know if they're still a thing. The Warriors, I got confused because they call them the Wars now, the WA, which is similar to.
I've seen that. WAH. The Warriors, they're scary good at the moment.
I hope they win the comp. I'm going to put it out there.
Honestly, I think they're one of the 2 or 3 teams I think that could take it to the Panthers, because they're still the comp favourites, rightly or wrongly. I hope they don't win, but if I was to pick a team, I want to see win the comp this year, it'd be the Warriors. They've got a very easy run for the rest of the year now. They've just had their last bye. They don't play a team inside the top 8 for the rest of the year. So they are, they're a pretty good shot at top 4. And if they got top 4, I think they could take it to anyone on their day.
Speaking of which, the Penrith Panthers at home, the Storm are $3.23. Don't see this much with the Melbourne Storm to be that far outside. But yeah, we've all gone Penrith there. Panthers at home, you can't really tip against that, can you?
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit closer than a lot of people are expecting, though. The Storm, you can't really write them off. They'd like to get in the grind. They're coming off that good win over Parramatta, and I think they'll lose, but they'll at least keep this one pretty close.
I've gone the Cowboys at home against. I know the Broncos are riding pretty hot at the moment. I'm doing well with the metaphors, idioms. I don't know what the right word is, but
bit of both.
Yeah, a bit of both. Cook Chooks, riding Broncos. I've gone the Cow. I don't know. If I'm in doubt, I go home team. That's just my default. So yeah, it's a tough one. Golden Point might be a good bet in this one. We've seen a few golden points between these two. So
yeah, this could be the first Queensland derby between these two teams in a while that is actually good, because obviously the Broncos had a couple of years where they were pretty bad. The Cowboys were pretty bad before last year too. The Cowboys are without Val Holmes for the rest of the season if they don't make finals. He's a pretty big out because he's a pretty talented out. I'm not sure who's going to take over their goal kicking, so that could they could leave a few points on the table out there with him gone. I've gone with the Broncos just because I think they're in a little bit of better form, and they want to prove that last year's late season slip up that started with losing to us was a fluke, and that they're not doing it again this year, and they will definitely want to ride fast and strong into the finals.
We've all gone the Knights over the Finns. Where is that Finns game? Where are they playing? Is that
Optus Stadium over in Perth?
This is the Perth doubleheader, isn't it? So so Knights, and then we've also got Rabbitohs. The Sharks are $4.60. What has happened to the Cronulla Sharks? Jesus,
they can't beat a top 8 team. They're collapsing in a very big pile very quickly, and Nico Hines looks a shadow of the player who won the Dally M Award last year.
Down Cronulla. Parramatta Eels have all gone them over the Dragons. I think that's probably the safest bet the round for old Dragons. Can only beat the West Tigers, and that's it. So, and then unfortunately, we've all tipped the Raiders. Tigers have $3.50. I can't, but two guys I like to put anytime try scorers haven't been playing, both Steph and Sean as well.
What are you going to do now for your bets since you can't do either of them?
What am I going to lose money on this week? Twally $12.50. He's got the start this week. Is it a Twal week?
I don't know. I think if anything, it might be a dream week.
I had Brooksy last week, and he was pretty close. He was next to Papa when Papa scored his, and I believe he was right there with Tupou. Was he inside Tupou when Tupou ran it? I think he might have been as well. So,
I think so. Yeah, I think
Brooksy,
Papali'i was the closest one to them, but Jareem was there as well, not that far away.
Maybe Fanua Pole again for Noons for his birthday.
Maybe Johnny Bateman as well against his old team again. He got one. He got a scoot from dummy half against him at Campbelltown. He might be able to get another one against him.
Patreon questions. I don't think we actually have any from the guys in the Discord, but if you would like to join and take part in the show, patreon.com/WestsLife. Let me check. No, just Rob's essay, the last thing in there. If you want to join us there, patreon.com/WestsLife. Super easy. I'll send you the link to the Discord as soon as you sign up. I have to start organizing a catch up at the end of the year too, as well.
Also, I'll just add we got a correction in the comments earlier. Mona Lisa Soliola isn't Sia Soliola's wife; it's his cousin.
Yeah, could be. It's not Tasmania. Couldn't be both, could it? But
I didn't think you would go there, but I don't think so.
Yeah, of course I did. Of course I went there. Right, we'll review these two games on Monday. We probably the good old Matildas. They're playing at 8:30 Monday night as well against Denmark. Is it Denmark?
Denmark, yep, the Danish.
Playing against the Danish. Shouts to Princess Mary. See, wonder who she's going to go for. But we're going to do this we're not going to do 8:30 on Monday, possibly 7:30 on Monday. But yeah, keep an eye on the socials and that sort of thing. We don't want to go live. We want to watch the Matildas, and I would assume that most of you don't want to see our ugly mugs when the Matildas are playing. Is Sam Kerr going to play? Do they know that yet?
Well, apparently she was available for selection for the last game against Canada, but obviously they won 4-0 and didn't really need her. So I guess it gives the calf an extra week to get right. So hopefully we see her out there in the knockouts now.
Righto. Show done in 45 minutes. Man, without that Mr. Bashara blabbing on, we get through it nice and efficiently.
We miss him though. We miss him.
We do miss him. We do. He's still in the Discord and he's still talking Tigers. He can't
he tuned into the show on Monday as well. He said in the Discord it was nice to be the receiver of the therapy as opposed to the giver. So
yeah,
you're welcome, mate.
yeah, rest up. Rob, we do honestly miss you dearly, but but Monday night we'll be reviewing all this. Anything else to add before we say an early night to Big Dog?
No, just very much looking forward to watching the first NRL and NRLW doubleheader. I think it's going to be amazing. The atmosphere is going to be awesome. The girls are going to be out on the field for the Viking clap as the Raiders girls come out, which I was watching last weekend, and it was a pretty cool atmosphere. So that's going to be an interesting experience for them. I hope it fires them up, and fingers crossed we can see 2 wins on Saturday with the lower grades, and then 2 wins on Sunday with the men and the women.
Greg said on Facebook we should do a live outside broadcast from the Matildas game. Look, if we did go live, you'd probably hear. I'm within earshot of the stadium, so you'd probably hear the cheering come through in the microphone if we did actually go
And
live.
I'm on the hill just on the other side of the Parramatta River, so you can see the stadium from my place.
Yeah, so maybe it's outside broadcast might be something we look at next year. There's a whole lot of licensing and all sorts of things that you got to pay for to do that, but that'd be something in the future that'd be pretty cool to actually do this show from the games itself. Obviously not the soccer, the actual West Tigers games themselves. But righto, as enjoy the weekend, and head to West Ashfield if you're not heading down to Canberra to watch the girls and the guys play on Sunday afternoon. We might see you there. As always, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.